Ad Astra, Latin for To the Stars. So, Ad Astra is written and directed by James Gray, who's also known for directing feature films known as The Lost City of Z and We Own the Nine, starring Joaquin Phoenix, who will be joining our big theaters nationwide in a couple of days from now. And also the cinematography for this film is Hoyt van Hoytema, who's also known for Interstellar, Dunkirk, and Her, also starring Joaquin Phoenix. So, Ad Astra. Ad Astra is based on the character of Roy McBride, who is an astronaut played by Brad Pitt, in which travels to the outer edges of the solar system to find his missing father and unravel a mystery that threatens the survival of our planet. Roy's journey will uncover secrets that challenge the nature of our human existence and our place in the cosmos. So, with that all being said, let's talk about the positives. Now, one of the positives I have to give to this film is its great use of cinematography from Hoyt van Hoytema. And this film is completely immersive. I had the privilege of watching this film in IMAX 2D, and cinematography is impeccable, it's flawless, it's got this nice gloss to it, and if you see it in the biggest screen possible, whether you see it in IMAX 2D and Dolby Cinema, it completely sucks you in. And in particular, to the opening scene with the post-satellite with Roy McBride's character. We've also seen that same scene in trailers as well. And yeah, let's talk about more of these positives that come with this film. The opening 15 minutes of this film is brilliant. I felt like as if the first act had moved really smoothly, and I also liked Roy McBride's character, and I also liked the direction that they took his character in. His character was very similar to Kay in Blade Runner 2049. I liked the deep dive mental psychology that was in this film, and it just goes to show that you just can't be an average Joe if you want to be an astronaut. There's certain precautions, there's certain things that need to be in procedure, set in motion, for you to be at the pinnacle and be in the higher ranks of being a astronaut. Very similar in the sense that the psyche analysis was similar to the baseline test in Blade Runner 2049, and it fed more into his character in the sense that Roy McBride is a product of his environment, and I also like the little character trait they gave him, like he is a character that his heart rate, it can only proceed, it's less than 80 beats per minute, which which then leads into the fact that he's very culpable in very stressed situations. And when you're seeing all these intense scenes happen, he's like the coolest man, in the film, and the aura around in the theater. So that was really cool to see. And another great positive is Brad Pitt's acting. He leaves no stone unturned. He's absolutely phenomenal in this film, and he really did bring his A game, I felt. So, moving into the negatives that come with the film. With every good, there is the bad, sadly. And in particular, there is a space fight scene on the moon. Now, when it initially happened, It was absolutely jaw-dropping to see, especially in IMAX 2D. It was brilliant. I was completely roped into it. The way they directed it, apparently it was the second unit director's choice to fit in this idea, and it worked. It added a level of more tension and a level of more exuberance that came with this film, and I really enjoyed that. But the only problem with this idea is that there was no real context behind it. You know, there wasn't let's say, a third person narrative to juxtaposition this fight scene and make it make sense to the plot of the story. It just felt like something that just happened, which kind of annoyed me. I just wanted a little bit more continuity, a little bit more context behind that scene, and that would have added more oomph to the plot of this story. Which then leads me to another plot hole, or another divisive thing that I'm bringing up to you guys, is that there was also another very action-based, exuberant scene, and again, there isn't really any context behind it. It just feels like as if it's being thrown into the film for the sake of it being thrown into the film to get some thrills and to get your heart rate up and make you jump around in your seat a little bit. There wasn't really that there wasn't any real leverage to it, and it involves a certain animal, and if you've seen the film, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I've heard a lot of other people say that, oh no, they did mention it in the build up to that scene. But if anything, to me, from my perspective of watching it, it must have been very throwaway for me to just forget that conversation was being had. So yeah, that's one of my my stipulations there. And again, another context problem that I have with this story is that is that the ending felt a little bit slightly anticlimactic, in my opinion. And you're thinking, bloody hell, that must be the craziest thing, because you obviously, if you've seen it, you know how it kind of ends. I just think that they could have possibly maybe done a little bit more with Clifford's character. So, I understand the foreshadowing of it. I just wanted more of an impact that came with the actual ending. Well, the reason why I say no context is because there is a device that Brad Pitt's character makes, and it's cool, but again, there isn't that scene that explains to the audience, okay, here's where we are, and this is how a character's going to get out of the situation. It shouldn't be a thing of me seeing it third person. I want to see it in first person, of him in this headspace of creating it, and then it's a thing of that, okay, now we execute it. But all in all, I think that the relationship worked between Roy McBride and Clifford McBride in the end. I certainly have a different perspective of what I would do with the story, but for what the father-son relationship, for what it was, I do think that it worked. Like I said, the only thing that brings this film down is its plot holes and not is enough attention to detail when it comes to its writing. Everything else, directing, cinematography, the directing is a certain part, but other than that, in that regard, it's 10 out of 10, but it's not 10 out of 10. So the overall rating that I'm going to give Ad Astra will be a 7 out of 10. I don't particularly think that this film is up there with the likes of Interstellar, The Martian, and Gravity. It's still a good film, and I do recommend that you go and see it. It is worth your time, and yeah, definitely go see it. Go see it. I recommend, if there isn't IMAX playing this film, there should be, but if you don't have that option, go see it at an Odeon Lux, Dolby Cinema, and enjoy the experience. So yeah, guys, if you have seen it, put in your comments down below. Like, comment, subscribe. Click here if you want to see more. Share this video, and I'll see you in the next one.